Here we go. Okay.
All right. And we are back with the Blame Girl podcast with,
Mr. Terry Wayne.
and we got my boy Chris Shepard in the house. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I want to ask you about your weekend. I just thought I'd talk about this live on the air. Terry, our boy Jason Pellish, he's like, you got to stop doing the segment about the weekend. But I'm like, that's when we share the show. And he wants more jokes. How do we do that? I mean, we kind of make jokes sometimes. He said we didn't make any jokes last time. Who did we have on last time?
Who was that? Was it Mac Jones?
Mac, not Jones. Mac After Dark.
No, the girl on Instagram.
That's what I'm talking about. It's not Mac Jones. I can't remember her last name right now. But anyway,
Yes.
all right. I guess we will just say, talk about.
In which case, I made a bunch of jokes about sexuality with her. She's pretty hot. So.
No, was Jeff Quintana was our last.
Was
That's
it?
what it was. Jeff, yeah.
Okay.
But we'll have to have him back as Antonio, and then maybe Jason to be satisfied. He'll definitely make jokes.
Yeah, that'd be a good test.
Chris, how was your
let's
weekend?
make sure Jason is satisfied.
What'd you do this weekend, Chris? Did you turn up? Did you have any fun?
Usually, yeah. I had a Friday that turned into a Saturday that turned into a Sunday. So I'm resting now, getting it together. I mean, I went up at Dom's thing for the first time, probably a month of doing stand-up. It was fun.
It's been a month since you've gone up.
How bad did it go?
It was swamped at 10:30, 11 p.m.
Exactly. That's my point. So how bad did it go?
It was okay. I'm jaded because it was the first time in a month. So obviously, I'm going to be biased. It felt good to do it again. And just get that one out of the way. I don't know. It was good. It was fun. It was a good hang, good time. All the friends and stuff.
I definitely had fun. I was at that show, so I'll tell y'all about my weekend. That's really the only show I did over the weekend. It was a swamp show. I just kind of treated it as an open mic, really, because of the crowd. I felt like when I got off a stage at Swampgrass on Friday that I had just done a workout.
It was exhausting.
Yeah, it was exhausting. Just trying to talk over everybody. But I mean, they have a special place in my heart. So, and then Saturday night, I played at poker with some comics with Jim Frederick, who
well, that pisses me off
on the podcast.
I said, well, that pisses me off. I was down there for what? 12 years trying, and I would always say we should get a comics poker game together. I leave, and a month later they start one.
Yeah, almost immediately. I'm offended for you.
I don't know that this was the first one.
It was like they were waiting.
The first one.
It was like they were waiting for me to leave, and they're like, "Good, he's gone. All right, let's do it."
It wasn't the first one, and I actually got invited by Brian Coronado. He was there. It was Brian Coronado. Kevin Javier was there, Jim Frederick, and then Chris Z, who I had not met.
God.
Oh, you don't know Chris Z?
Heard that name.
No, I know him now, and he was very fun.
I haven't heard his name in a while either, but Chris Z, he's a pretty good comic. He did some USO tours. He's
in Orlando now, or he was in Orlando. I think he moved back down here, but I don't really see him out on the scene a lot. Or if I do, I just ignore him like he's a new comic because I've become that person now. So, anyway,
ever since he came back
Terry,
from LA, it kind of he stopped going out as much. So
yeah,
I on Sunday I just had some girls over to my house and we had some appies and a lot of fun. So that was my weekend. Terry, how was yours?
And a lot of fun.
Okay.
What did
Yeah,
I
we
do
get a
this
lot of
weekend?
no.
I mean, I'm mainly just trying to get life together in this new place. Oh, I did I did go Saturday night. We went out to the local hotspot, uh, which turns out is a country western bar, believe it or not.
Don't
In,
say.
in Tennessee.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, but around 11 o'clock, it just turns into a straight up club. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. Before that, everybody's like boot scooting boogie and line dancing and all that jazz.
Mm.
Yeah, not really. No. I mean, it's just like any other club. There's a bunch of dudes there trying to get laid. There's a bunch of girls there trying to dress sexy and dance. And, the one thing that did get me is how old I am, apparently, because like, like when you go into a club, if you're between 18 and 21, they'll put like the black marks on your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Like the black X's, so that you don't get served. There were so many black X's.
Oh, like I don't.
And
If I'm in a space where there's like underage people, don't tell me.
well, no.
And I don't mean like underage. I mean like under.
Yeah, they're
drinking age.
adults, but yeah, they're
Yeah.
18
But I
to
don't really want to hang out with those people. So
Well, I mean, I'll finish the story if you don't mind. But so anyway, so there were so many there, and literally it happened probably 4 times. I was like, damn, she's fine. And then I looked down, it's like, motherfucker, she got a black X on her arm. To the
Well,
point where I started feeling
you think the bar would only allow a certain amount in because they're just not even making money if everybody in there is not drinking.
listen, it's no, they just I found out they just charge them more to get in.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess it
more
offsets.
to get in, and then like they attract a certain crowd, I'm sure, like older guys that like younger girls, or maybe older women that like younger guys,
No, yeah, I mean, you gotta, yeah, that's where you go to find your sugar babies, no, but it's a small suburban town outside of Nashville, so I'm sure they take what they can get, but there was a huge line outside, like to the point where we got there, and the line was so long, I was like, let's just get out of here. We weren't the only people of our age there, but there was definitely a shift in the balance of power.
Yeah, you reach an age where like a line to get into something is a definitive thing in the evening, there's a line, and most of the time I'm not going to wait in it. I'm going to go home or do
to their credit, I will say we probably
I don't do that unless
it was probably
everybody's
about 15 minutes.
Like,
yeah.
It was probably only about 15 minutes that we waited in line, but still, to go to a what?
I was just gonna say the last time I waited in line for a club was like I was going to a fetish party.
Okay, cool story. Yeah, but 15 minutes to wait to get into a line dancing club, I'm like, I don't even give a shit about this. Like, I didn't even care about this when I was in a country band playing these clubs. I was like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. I know some people enjoy it. I know my sister really loves it. She wanted it. And that was the main thing, was like my sister wanted to check it out because she used to like doing that. So, but then we got there, and I'm just,
so
she put her thumb on the scale on that one. But I'll give them credit for this. They charged me $12 to get in at about 9 o'clock, which is another huge difference. Because you go to a Florida club, 9 o'clock, it's empty. This one's packed to the rafters at 9 o'clock on a Saturday. But I go in at about 9 o'clock. They said it's $12 a person to get in. And I said, okay, here. And I gave them the money, and they go, here's your ticket. And I said, what's this for? And they go, give the bartender this. It's free beer till 11. And I was like, well, no, I've been tricked by these before. When I was a younger man, because they give you a ticket and then you go in there and it's the worst keg beer they've got in the house. It's like Natty Ice Light, Bush's bullshit or something gross. Nope.
You drink Miller Lite. So.
Well, there's a difference between Miller Lite and Natty Ice. You know what I mean? Like there's a huge difference. But no, it wasn't. It was like Budweiser, Coors, Miller Lite, all in the bottle. No keg bullshit, nothing. So I gotta give him credit on that. $12 for what? We were there for 2 hours, so about 5 beers. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, you definitely broke even on that. I had to wait 15 minutes to get into what is the first watch on Sunday, and I was losing my mind. So kudos
for
for
brunch.
yeah.
Well, they were already there, and my wife and my sister were excited. So, let's stand in the line, I guess.
All right. Well, I'm excited to do some blaming. I don't know about you guys. Terry, do you want to lead us since you did the prep, or you want me to do it?
We going in the order I gave it to you?
Yeah, I got the outline up if you just want me to do it.
Go ahead.
All right. So there was a car that plowed into a crowd in front of a Texas shelter that was housing migrants, guys. Who's to blame? Was it on purpose or was it by accident?
That's the big question here was this just an accident? But the guy tried to flee the scene afterwards. So I'm saying probably not an accident. And,
But the thing about it is the driver was a Hispanic man.
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
So maybe it wasn't on purpose.
You think because he's Hispanic, he wasn't gonna kill other Hispanic people?
Well, the thing that I thought about it.
Right. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Listen.
Thought maybe a little he might be there.
I know. I mean, plus most of those people that got hit, they say they were Venezuelan asylum seekers. So, what's that got to do with maybe like a Mexican man that's been here for 20 years or was born here that, gets into, I mean, we know that a lot of Hispanics vote Republican. So, I don't think ethnicity really matters there. My thought also was like maybe his ex was in that pack or somebody he hated and he was just like, but the fact that he tried to flee the scene,
At the same time, I feel like I know people that have fled the scene for less.
That's true.
I see the side of the highway with an orange on it for a couple of days. I'm like, that guy just had to walk one off,
Yep. No, I definitely know what you're saying.
Yeah. The witnesses describe seeing the driver ignore a red light, drive up on a curve, and run over a group of people waiting at the bus.
You don't have to take the witnesses' accounts. I don't know if you saw the whole thing, but there is actually security footage online of the hit and run. Well, I already did.
Yeah, I can't.
Can we pull it up right now?
No. I already watched it, and it looks. Nobody's pulling it up. He was kidding. No, I actually watched it, and it's grainy, but it looks pretty deliberate. It doesn't look like the guy was losing control. It looked like he aimed, but who knows? I mean, there's been a lot of rhetoric about asylum seekers and immigrants at the border right now. All it takes is one loony that thinks he's trying to save the country.
And what's this thing with because this is like a new form of mass killing, right? Is running into crowds with your car. You can thank who was that
Charlottesville?
It was in Charlottesville, that's right, where the guy ran over, I think her name was Rebecca something.
I don't think it's new. It's just it's not something people do very often. It's not a common way if you want to take out some folks. Then most likely, you're like the other fella in Texas at the outlet mall this weekend.
Well, speaking of immigrants, it seems like an immigrant heavy show this week. I misunderstood what you were sending me, Terry, because this one I did see this one, but I thought there was a more important immigration bill that was passed in Florida this week. But this one is about how Ron DeSantis, he has signed a bill against Chinese citizens from being able to own property here in Florida. Y'all, who's to blame? This is kind of wild.
That's why I gave you this one,
Yeah.
because it's pretty fucking wild.
So it's the immigration one, dude. Like, they've got vacant work sites now because of the new immigration law that was passed in Florida. That's what I thought we were going to talk about, but I mean, we can loop them all in together. But who's to blame here? Why? Part of me on this one, I'll start. I got excited a little bit because, first of all, it's hard to own property here in Florida. You know, if you own it, you better fucking treasure it, value it, because it's definitely worth something. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard to be an average American working towards that end here in Florida. You feel like you will never be able to own a home here. And a lot of that is due to foreign nationals buying land here, not just Chinese. You got the Russians and the Chinese. And that is one way to stifle and lash out against Americans legally, is by them purchasing up the land and driving up the price here so that average Americans can't afford to live here anymore. So I thought in one way, maybe that would help that, but why just Chinese nationals and not Russian? Okay.
Exactly. My landlord was Russian for 8 years. I paid that man. And not to mention Germans, Canadians. I mean, I would say probably when I was doing inspections down there, probably 30% of the purchases that I went on were Canadians buying property in South Florida and treating it like snowbirds, like same New Yorker snowbirds. So why single out the Chinese?
Do you think it's racism, or is it what is it called? Yellow baiting, or what is it called? I think
it's virtue signaling for the Republicans, for the GOP, be like, oh, China, yeah, gotta get the Chinese out of here.
Communism.
Nobody says anything about nobody says anything about Russia, and that's probably the most communist country on the
they
planet.
have democracy down. They have democracy down.
Oh yeah, sure they do.
They ain't communist. They're a democracy, but a fake democracy that's like really a dictatorship. But
yes,
the problem too starts in China, because if I'm not mistaken, you don't ever really own the land you buy in China. You're leasing it from the government essentially. So it's like, I understand wanting to buy it here. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's to tell them they can't just buy it here is not like fixing it anywhere else. I don't know. Like,
well, the Chinese, we can all agree, are pretty rough when it comes to control. Yeah. You know, like you said, you leasing your property from them. You can't really own it. That's the same thing with their businesses. Like, you can build up a business all you want, but if the government ever says, hey, it looks pretty good, I think we're going to take that, and they can just take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it, but it's not like there's no land in Florida. I mean, just drive north of Port St. Lucie and it's pretty much empty nothingness, Like, you mean there's no properties available where you're at? But
well, what it does do to the other citizens, it does prohibit them from buying Russia, North Korea, Iran, Cuba, Venezuela, and Syria from buying land within a mile of a military base or a piece of critical infrastructure, though the Chinese nationals face a statewide ban.
Yeah, again, it's just stupid. I mean, it just doesn't make logical sense. Oh, you can't buy a piece of property that's a mile away from, say, I don't know, one of our power plants. Okay, well, buy it 2 miles away and then do whatever nefarious shit you're gonna do, and then just drive an extra mile.
Yeah, I don't think that mile is really gonna stop anything.
It doesn't. That's why I'm saying it's virtue signaling for the GOP. It's just, we're gonna crack down on China. It's it's the same thing with the border and everything else. You know,
and then I just wanted to circle back to the immigration laws that are being passed and what's happening with workers here in Florida and why those work sites are vacant. And it's because now in Florida, they are holding employers accountable for hiring illegal immigrants. So
well, that's the end of Ron DeSantis.
Undocumented. But yeah, that is, I mean, like, that is Ron DeSantis, and it could have serious repercussions if these white people ain't finna go work at these work sites. Like, what does he think's gonna happen?
I just watched.
Once you decide to go to war with Disney World, it's like, what are you doing? I mean, that's the thing we have, you know, like.
Well, 80% of all produce and vegetables in this country are picked by immigrants, and 72% of them are undocumented. So, and the reason for that is because a lot of these produce are too fragile to be mechanized, right? So you think about corn, yeah, they rip corn off potatoes, no problem. But try to invent a machine that'll pick a strawberry without destroying it. Like or tomato.
They have drones picking food right now.
No, they don't.
So is that what he thinks? Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
You're on TikTok. How would you even know?
Yeah, listen,
I'm gonna pretend. I want to still think you're an intelligent person, so I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that. No, actually,
I'm just saying. I've seen the footage.
2
they
weeks
got
ago,
harvesting shit.
Yes, they can harvest certain things, but like I said, about 80% can't be mechanized. It has to be picked by hand because it's too fragile. You'll destroy it if you try to do it. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I can't remember which one, but just recently, John Oliver did a deep dive on this very issue on undocumented immigrants and the what do they call it? The agricultural farmers thing or whatever. It's pretty eye-opening to see exactly how much this country depends on people that scream that they hate them.
Yeah.
Because like Chris said, it's 100% accurate. Either one of two things is going to happen. Your produce are going to go up 5-10 fold, or you're just not going to have them. Because there's no way to get the average American citizen to go out and do this backbreaking labor in the burning sun for a reasonable price to where it's going to be possible to even sell them. So keep having your culture war. See if it hits you at the grocery store. Keep screaming it
for that. Y'all fucking love that food.
Well, not to mention, Florida actually is a few main groups in Florida, including Walmart. They actually participate in a fair workers trade practice with these migrant workers when it comes to tomatoes.
So like now he's attacking big business yet again. I thought that conservatives.
That's why I said, see you. That's why as soon as you said it, I was like, that's it for DeSantis.
Now Walmart? Oh, Lord. Okay.
You're taking on Walmart now? All right. See you, bud.
Get off a little more than you could chew there, but
you got Walmart and Disney on your ass. All right. Well, we'll see how you do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to take on the big guy like they are doing in Hollywood. The Writers Guild of America, they are on a strike. Who's to blame?
I don't know, but it sucks.
We're not going to get anything good in a bit here. It's going to slow down, and then it's just going to be a trickle. This
the last one,
like it's going to be resolved anytime soon.
The last one they did was in like 2007 or 2008. I can't remember. Was the last time the Writers Guild striked, and I believe it cost $4 billion in revenue.
Yeah.
And lasted for about 6 months. And in the end, they caved anyway to the writers. And all that really happened was we went 6 months without any good programming.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if you read anything about it, but it is the difference between broadcast entertainment and streaming entertainment. So I totally get what the writers are saying, because they're not going to get any future revenues. They don't get any residuals or anything on their work. Not to mention
Through
where
services like Netflix, right?
Yeah, streaming.
Right?
Yeah, stream all the streaming networks because
They
it's
don't
kind of
get
like the
paid
Wild
for
West.
residuals.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
fucked up.
it's the Wild West, but not to mention just about the residuals. But think about it. You used to have shows that would come on, and you'd have 22 episodes in a season, and then you'd have one season, maybe 1.5 seasons per year. Well, now you've got streaming. We're down to like 10, 8, 6 episodes. So now you're working less and you're getting paid less. And the corporate profits are crazy high, extremely high right now. So they're just saying, hey, man, living wage. That's all we're looking for. That guy from Adam Ruins Everything, Adam, I can't remember his name, but he's like a established member of the guild. And he said, he's like the chairman, the CEO of he was on CNN. He's like the CEO of the company that I'm talking to you, the company that owns the channel that I'm talking to you on right now, got paid $250 million last year. That's one guy got paid
in 1 year.
$250 million.
Yeah.
He's like, we're more than 10,000 writers, and we're not even asking for that amount.
Yeah.
Collectively, we're not asking for that amount.
Yeah.
And you just gave it to one guy. Well, I totally get that argument, because let that guy make all your shit for you. Let's see him do it. Well, he's making all the money. Let him do all the fucking work.
That's what's part of this that's the most interesting to me, is that the writers are striking too specifically against AI, in using.
That's another issue. Yeah.
It threatens everybody out of like a job, essentially. And I understand that they're fearful, but what's to prevent the CEO that made 250 million from just saying, you know what, I'm done with writers. It's computers now. We're new season of Breaking Bad. It's just going to be computers.
Let's see how many people want to sit around and watch that shit.
That is like the fall of civilization, because now you got machines picking our fucking berries. They're crushed all the time.
There are no machines.
Bootleg you got these bootleg ass.
I was just gonna say, you know what AI can't do? Pick your food for you.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that I think this is just another indicator of our economic problems here in the country, where you have the haves and the have-nots, and these CEOs that are just taking all this money. It's fine to make a lot of money, but make sure other people in your company make a lot of money too, especially the people that are doing all the work. Because the CEOs, they can't do the writing, they can't do the acting, they can't, they're not bringing anyone coffee. Make sure those people are paid well. That's all.
Even if you tried to do it with AI, you still got to get people to design, build, and run that AI system. So you can't do everything by yourself. I agree with the fact.
Actors and actresses.
I agree with the fact that you can't give so much to so few and expect it to last. I disagree with the fact that you're saying that's just the economy we're in right now. The economy we're in right now is pretty good. In fact, it's pretty great. Unemployment is at 3%. That's bananas good.
I heard Black unemployment is really low. That's what I heard.
Well, what they're complaining, when people say that the economy is bad, what they're complaining about is the fucking stock market. That's not the economy. That's
poor people's problem.
No, that's the casino where wealthy people stick their money. It's not the economy. Economy is based off the back of the workers. So as long as unemployment is down, the economy should be good if somebody's not fucking around with it trying to make another billion. That's the problem.
Somebody's poking it to try to make money.
Right.
Makes sense.
Well,
you don't think that the writers are paid well?
It depends on what you're talking about. It depends on the writer. The problem is they're getting shifted around so much too.
Mm.
Because if you're only doing 6 episodes or 8 episodes a season, now you got to go find another gig going to do, because remember, writing's mostly like a gig enterprise.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just sit around and just say, oh, I'm just a writer on the show and that's my job. No, you're a comedy writer, you're a dramatic writer, you're a suspense writer, you're a horror writer, and you go from job to job to job to job, you know, and they'll say, okay, well, thanks for the season. We'll see you again next year.
Maybe.
And then you got to live between now and then.
Yeah. Gone are the days of, 2.5 Men where writers are making 150,000 an episode and producing, 36 episodes twice a year. It's just not the model anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
So they need some kind of retribution to make it even worth being a writer. Like it's at some point, it's just like, well, I would just, for this pay, fuck it all. I'll just go pick fruit.
It's the same thing with everything else. If you pay somebody $100 million this year to be your CEO, next year they're going to want 120.
Yeah.
It's for some people, it's never going to be enough. And for other people, they're never going to have enough.
I think
So,
but the quality of life, it's like every time I, as a normal American, go to the grocery store, I'm like, they went back, they didn't increase the price of coffee again. Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, it's not,
I'm sure they have that on their
sure they have that on their what?
level. Like, oh, they increased the prices of mansions again. Like,
oh no, the yacht. You know how much it takes to run my yacht?
they
It's like, come on, man.
I gotta pay my yacht staff
Yeah.
so they can eat groceries.
And it's not the fall of civilization. Even if America fell, it would hurt the world, but it's not the fall of civilization. It is one step closer to revolution, though, because there will be an economic.
More than just, it's happening in the West everywhere. Look at
there will be an economic revolution. There just has to be. You can't drain the pool on one side.
That show, help me out. It was a TV show. It was on FX. It was really possible. Like Mr. And that's what it was about. He was like anonymous, and he was just like destabilizing.
Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot. Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Mr. Robot, where the fuck you at? Our credit card debt. All our debt. Just anyway.
If it keeps going like that, it's gonna get wild. Some people are gonna, there's gonna be economic terror.
We're not too far from that where we are right now, I feel, and that's how it's gonna be fought. Is gonna be, it's gonna be a lot of digital, a lot of we're just gonna shut down the Western power grid for 6 months until we get what we want, and we'll see how you feel then.
Maybe. I think eventually people are gonna start eating the rich. Because you can't, you can't. I mean, that's the term, but they're gonna take them to task. Because I think the wealthy, what they forget is all the shit they have, all the stuff that their money affords them, all the power and whatnot, they can't have it without the rest of us. Like who's gonna build your yacht? Who's gonna sail it for you? Who's gonna pick your strawberries? Who's gonna do this? Who's gonna do that? Because eventually people will realize the power in numbers. And they're just going to start staying home. Yeah. And then once the economy starts to collapse because everybody stays home, then you'll figure out what's going on. Because I know plenty of people who've been poor before who have no problem. If it means they'll have a better future, they'll have no problem sitting at home eating ramen for a month.
Yeah.
But exactly, if enough people did that, the whole country grinds to a halt. And if you did that and said, you know what, we as the majority of people in this country said, we don't want to be stepped on anymore, and we're staying home until you change your ways, you'll notice a big fucking difference then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like your digestive system might suffer, but maybe we'd effectuate change.
For the greater good. Yeah.
Well, it's like this. Nobody wants to think about their asshole until it stops working. And then it causes a real problem.
Stop working and eat ramen for a month. But
Yeah.
but anyway, all right. That brings me to our last story. There was a mom who's an influencer. She
I
tried to
love this one
blame
so much.
a Latino couple for trying to kidnap her kids at a California store. Guys, who's to blame? Why would she lie about this in 2020?
Did you watch this, Chris?
No, I haven't watched. I read the blurb about it. I mean, just the amount of like the mental health crisis that social media influencing is causing is just like, it's not a huge shock that somebody would do this. You know, people have done worse and crazier because their brain is just turned to rotten tomatoes. Like,
yeah. Oh, I don't think this was mental health. I think this was a direct, and I don't think it had anything to do with race. I think she just saw, I think this woman's, they call her an influencer. She's got about 50,000 followers. Right, we've had people on this show that have more followers than that.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So I don't think it was mental
trying to get
health.
More followers?
Oh, absolutely. I think she was trying to go viral, saying how a couple of people try to snatch up her kids. And she's like, I'm giving you warnings, because I watched her little post about it. The original post, and she's like, I'm going to give you some warning signs because my kids almost got abducted today. Really? With you while you were at the store with them? Like, how? Okay, keep an eye on them then. That's number one, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It's like, if you think somebody's trying to take them, like, hey, right here, right? Just put the camera on them.
Don't take my kids.
No, this was a stupid stay-at-home blonde mom in California who's like, I've got a great idea for a post. I'll warn moms how to not, and then she should have warned them how to not go to jail, because she's convicted now, and the maximum penalty is 6 months in jail.
Rightfully so. You can't just be falsely accusing people of trying to take your kids for clout.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I loved about that, was they interviewed the people that she had accused, and they were like, this really affected us. Our friends saw our pictures on this thing.
Yeah, it tried to ruin our lives,
Yeah. And it's like, man, y'all got to calm down with the social media shit. Everybody wants to be a celebrity on there. And
well, the problem is, I mean, everybody has the ability to be a celebrity on there. It's like, if that didn't go the way that it did, she could have been huge, if she wasn't found out, or if things went differently, she could have been giant from it.
Yeah, that could have gotten 100,000 more followers. Look at this mom's tips. Her kids almost got abducted.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the modern
about like,
it's the modern day lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Put your video on there. Who knows? You might be a millionaire.
Oh my God, the Mr. Beast thing that he posted today. I'm sure that you guys have seen this on your Instagrams or your feeds. It's his birthday, so everybody who shares the post, likes the post, tags somebody in the post, he's picking 5 people to give $10,000 to. And it has 8 million likes right now.
Oh my God, Mr. Beast on a YouTube post? Let me go find it.
No, it's on Instagram. He posted it on his Instagram, and it has 8 million likes right now. And it's 5 people are going to get $10,000. And it's just like,
like it just in case. And
that seems pretty cheap.
Yeah.
That seems pretty cheap for him, to be honest.
It's low. That's what I don't understand. Everybody's jumping.
It was a picture. I saw it was a picture with a bunch of money around him, right?
That's it.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about $50,000. He's probably going to make more off that post than he gives away.
Oh my God, he already has them. Sure, it's the most likes I've ever seen on.
No,
I think that's 9 million likes right now.
Oh, he's got crazy money.
Yeah,
I've seen that dude give island. That dude gave an island to somebody.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like, yes.
Oh, let me put this in my story right now. Okay.
It's just such a.
I don't even follow this dude. Let me follow him. So just.
Well, she tagged me in it.
I did. I tagged him.
It just popped up.
Well, yeah, it's like you said, it's a lottery. It's I'm gonna put my name in the hat, and this is maybe you know, a perfect example of what we're going, which is just to say, you know, I'm going to throw a bottle in the ocean and hope that it comes back with $1 million.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that
How
though. That's
desperate
the
we are for
bad
money.
part.
We like, I'm like, let me pause the show and go like this.
Yeah.
It's not that, but see, it's not that. It's not just as simple as throwing a bottle in the ocean, because people are willing to debase themselves,
Yeah.
humiliate themselves, humiliate their friends, family, neighbors, people,
Yeah.
strangers. They're willing to destroy people's
He didn't
lives
ask
over
for all
it.
that. He didn't ask for that.
But
But
nobody
they
cares
do
about.
it.
Okay,
They,
we're talking about
That's
people wanting to
yeah.
become social media famous, and
Mhm.
they're willing to do anything to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, think of how many lives this has destroyed just based on, some of the people that have,
hmm.
been famous and didn't get anything out of it. Memes, people that ended up being memes that never got anything out of it. Or
Or
Mhm.
even people that do. I just saw a story this week of a father who his family, they like, were a big social media family, and he killed himself because they were in foreclosure.
Yeah.
So it's like all this
well, forget
pressure
it.
once you
But
get
you don't
it.
even have to sign up for it. You don't have to throw your bottle in the ocean for your life to be ruined. You could just be some dude
Mm.
that
Mhm.
does something gross or picks his nose and eats it, or whatever, does something weird like that. And
Yeah.
then somebody snaps a picture or snaps a video of you, throws it on their thing, it goes viral. That dude's life is ruined, but
Yeah.
you got your likes out of it.
Yeah.
You
You
know
got
what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
You there in this age of consent, there is no consent for when you're out in the world.
Nah.
If you mess up in the right way, you could be famous against your will and never see a dime.
Yeah, and I feel like the likelihood is far greater that that's going to be the case for most people than,
Yeah,
you know,
probably.
striking it. You know, for most of us, we're going to be the guy in the video, not the guy taking the video, unfortunately.
By the laws of probability, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. We got Jason Pellish in the house. He ain't got nothing to say yet, but anyway. All right, let's catch up with Chris before we wrap up. It's already 7:46. We just zooming right through these topics this week.
Hmm.
Wow.
We catching up with Chris. Chris has been on the show before. Chris, tell us again how long you've been doing comedy.
7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. 7 years. It was 7 in December.
And what's your advice to anyone getting in?
Don't do it. No, I tell everybody, because people ask about it, just do it once and see if you like it. And if you like it, do it every day for 2 years and then see if you still like it.
Yeah, I think that's solid advice. How would you tell them to get started?
You just have to just jump into it. Just both feet. Jump in feet first. Just go to an open mic and just do an open mic. Or, I mean, I prepared.
Should they write before they go to an open mic?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But if somebody has the intention of doing stand up and they're asking me about it, I assume that they've thought enough through it to, maybe be a funny person or have a joke,
Yeah.
But
I mean, everybody starts different ways. So
yeah, write for a couple weeks and then go to an open mic and see if you like it. That's it.
Yeah.
Just try it.
I
It's
think
the most
I think
successful.
writing. What do you think about someone just like at an open mic and being like, I go up there, and they've never written?
Well, I've seen those people crush, It's hard to say because it depends so much on the room. It depends on the person. I've seen a guy go up there that wandered in off the street and kill for 10 minutes when everybody else who's been doing it for years was bombing. There's no
That
like
is
right or
dangerous.
wrong way. Yeah.
That's dangerous. To come in and do it your first time and crush is dangerous because you're gonna get crushed later. You're gonna get crushed.
Yeah. Well, that guy never did it again. He wandered back into the night and we never saw him, like just some guy.
Well, we got to stop that. We should have a writer's strike.
Oh man, a comedy guild would be wild.
Yeah, imagine having a comedy strike. Nobody would care.
Well, the problem is
Like,
that we'd always replace, there's always a guy behind you. It doesn't matter where you're at. There's always, if Sebastian Maniscalco decides he wants to go on strike, there's another guy that'll do Madison Square Garden right behind him that's not going to go on strike.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's
I know that's right.
Mhm.
comedians are too cutthroat.
Yeah.
Everybody would cross the picket line.
It's not even
Yeah.
that. It's like we all want to be on stage. So you
Mm.
like you ain't gonna take it, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. It would
You
never.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you already got people undercutting others. It's like, oh, he wants to do a show for $200. I'll do it for 100. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're too busy selling ourselves out to worry about the business or anybody taking
We
like.
comes right back to the strength in numbers.
Yeah.
You're stronger
Um,
together.
Mm,
all
that's true.
right. So what if they're in South Florida, what venue would you encourage them to go try comedy at first?
Bruce
Most
Room on Tuesdays is always great. Nick has really built that up into something pretty cool.
Yeah.
I loved the Coop. Unfortunately, it's not going anymore right now, at least. Little tattoo shop converted into a comedy space. You can't go wrong. Dada and Delray is one of the longest running open mics in Florida. It's been, God, I don't know how long Dada's been around.
Well, it had a little gap in there for a while.
Yeah, it
Well,
was a little high.
the gap was because of COVID. It wasn't like
It was a little bit where COVID was done.
Yeah.
We're like, I don't know if we're going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
yeah.
They get to see what it's like without us on Tuesdays after COVID. And they're like, this is kind of nice. And then brought us back.
Yeah, I think it was more like, oh, we like having that 8% bump in sales.
Yeah.
Just to the comics. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. What has been your biggest challenge doing comedy since the last time we spoke?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think, you reach a point in comedy where it's like, it feels like you blink and you've been doing it for a lot longer than it feels like. It's like, I remember my first year doing comedy. Everybody's kind of like, if you can write a joke your first year, you're like the wonder kid. It's like, oh my God, he's this new guy. He's figured it out. He's brand new. Granted, this is when we had less entries. It would be like, we'd get a couple new people a year. Now it's like 15 a month show up to the open mic. But it does go by quick. It's just like staying with it after this long and disassociating with the fact that I've been doing it for 7 years,
Yeah.
It starts to get weird after a bit there. Not letting.
Why do you feel the need to disassociate with the length of time?
I don't know, because it's like you reach a point where it's like maybe more shit should have happened by now. Or maybe I'm at a good place with it where it is, the longer that it goes, the more it's like, surely something should have broken at this point. But
it's leveling out those expectations that you have when you come in. You come in, you're like, oh, I'm good. I'm a da-da-da-da. And then when you get deep into the belly of it, you realize that's not how any of this works. You're not gonna be.
It's not so shiny.
If you excel super fast, you are the exception like a motherfucker. That's all I gotta say. Many people just.
The main thing I've always seen when it comes to new comics and that kind of aspiration of like what it's going to be like is, or the main problem at least that I've seen is everybody thinks the same thing, including myself, at least for the first few years. Which is, if I'm just funny enough, I'll make it.
Yeah.
And this is not a merit-based business.
No.
This doesn't exist. I know plenty of funny guys still living with their parents.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work that way. It takes talent and work and luck. That's what it takes. So you have to have all three of those things, and you have to be personable and nice to everybody on and off stage. You have to be marketable. People have to, follow you now. You got to have followers. You got to have this. You got to have that. There's so many roadblocks. Yeah. It's like, no, but I'm real funny. Okay, good. Yeah. I'm glad that you're real funny.
Yeah, good job. I don't know what
that's
from there. Yeah.
That's step 1 out of 10. So keep working.
Yeah, it's funny. Marcelo Hernandez and I started at about the same time, within a few months of each other, and to see how different
Oh,
our paths have gone.
oh,
You know,
wow.
where he's now
Yeah.
on SNL.
Mm-hmm.
You
It's
know what's
wild.
Yeah.
crazy is that and like me, I've been doing it less than you, and I see him on SNL, and everyone's like Marcella, and I'm like, who? I don't even know who he is, you know, like.
Wow.
Yeah. We started within a
Well,
few months
Chris,
of each other.
maybe if you had been more Hispanic, then you might have
Damn.
had a shot.
I
Yeah.
could have
Oh
had it
God,
all.
white
Yeah. You know.
Terry got Tennessee like coming out of him already.
Why? What?
All right. So are you ready to play the blame game, Chris?
Yeah, I don't know if I did this the last time. Maybe.
Terry, you got a blame game for him?
No, I was leaving that on to you. Well,
Chris. Okay, go ahead.
you got more information than I do, so that's why.
I mean, I was just gonna be doing it based on him not doing comedy for the last month. But if
There
you
you
have
go.
something,
Sounds good. Who's to blame?
Chris, you've been
Why are you
lazy the
slacking
last
off?
month. Who's to blame?
Oh man, that's all me. Yeah, that's all me. Just doing other stuff, you know. I take a break like a while every once in a while just to like fucking recalibrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, all my fault. I could have also been doing comedy and doing everything else.
We've all got reasons.
Yeah.
We don't turn them into excuses, Chris.
I don't take no breaks. No breaks over here. No breaks. It's because I'm lonely. This is my socialization, honestly. When
What are you talking about?
no,
You
I
just
work.
said,
I work from home by myself. Like I don't see people.
You had
So
yes, you
appetizers
do.
with
You just
friends
had the
on
girls
Sunday.
over on
Yeah.
Sunday for happy teasers and fun, good old fashioned fun.
yeah, but I don't have a significant other at home. It's just me and the dog. So other nights I got to go out to talk to people, or I could talk to Allison, my neighbor. I really could just stay home. It's really
See,
not,
that's
and I like
code
being alone
for
a little bit. So
that's code for I'm out here looking for a man. That's what that is. That's what that code is.
I do have a Dan Casso at home now, so you can understand why it would be hard for me to leave.
oh,
Mm.
okay.
I gotta spend
That
time
it
with
would
my
make it
son.
hard to leave if Dan
Yeah.
Castle was in my house.
Yeah.
Hey Dan, I bet he can do it.
Hang
All
out with
right.
my boy.
Well, Chris, do you want to give out your social media and let us know about anywhere we could see you coming up soon?
Yeah, it's Party Stranger on Instagram. That's the only one that I use really. And then I'm gonna be at the Red Light show on Mother's Day, which I believe is the 12th. So if you want to come watch comedy at a strip club on Mother's Day, it's gonna be fun.
I bet you'll be pretty good with some Mother's Day jokes. I bet that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be
I'm
going to I'm going to Tiffany Haddish with Jessica Smith,
Cool.
but maybe I'll pop over after. So
Yeah, come hang. It'll be a good time. I've invited a lot of people.
all right.
I'm
So
pretty sure there's a few people at that strip club that should be celebrating themselves and not working, but whatever. Yeah. Definitely
all right,
some single
Terry,
moms there.
do you have words for white people this week?
I do. Me too. This week we're talking about work. And which is funny because we've been talking about it the whole time here for the most part. Power of the worker and power of this, power of that. But a lot of people could say that, the wealthy or the powerful turn the workers against each other. I don't think so. I think we did that all by ourselves. And I have a perfect example of it. I was sitting out on my patio today, which is now on the ground floor. And I was doing a little bit of work. I was writing on, sitting there with my laptop. And a guy came by with a shovel and just started digging up the front of the lawn. And apparently they were just doing a little landscaping upkeep or whatever. But the guy looked up at me and then he went back to his shovel and he looked up at me and went back to his shovel. And I'm like, I bet that guy hates me. You know what I mean? I bet he hates me. I'm sitting in the shade, working on my laptop, smoking a cigarette. I got a glass of iced tea, and I'm watching him just, an obvious Latin American immigrant. And he's looking at me and he's just going, you don't do half the work I do during the day. And you're not out here in the sun. You're not breaking your back. I bet he hates me. And you know what? He's got the right to. He really does. But how bad should I have to feel for his situation? Because I remember digging ditches. Well, not necessarily ditches, but, digging holes for electrical conduit and stuff like that. That's where I started out. But I don't think we really need any reason to hate each other. If you're in a bad situation or if you're having tough times, it's easy to look up at somebody who's even just one or two rungs higher than you and with disdain. I'm not Jeff Bezos. I'm not running this. But it got me to thinking, and it's like, instead of having that look or that feeling, because I've had it myself. I've had it when I worked for other people and I did 10 times the work they did and they got paid 10 times the amount that I did. It's easy to feel that disdain. It's easy to feel that anger. But I think that just holds us back both individually and collectively. Because if that guy would have just looked at me and instead of being angry or instead of being resentful, if he would have looked at me and said, I wonder how he got there. I wonder how he got to, out of the construction business, out of the digging ditches, and then sitting on a laptop. That's a lot more productive a way of thinking about it. Yeah. How did you get there? And I could have done the same thing when I was a younger man, but I just didn't have the patience or the logical sense to say, why am I getting upset at my boss who sits on his ass while I run his company or, work at his place or lift his boxes or one of the other million jobs I've had? I should have been thinking the whole time that, how'd you get there? I should have been asking him, I should have been studying him so that instead of just being mad and digging ditches, I could have been less upset and working my way out of the hole. Literally.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So maybe take some patience when you see, maybe take some patience in the future when you see Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk wasting all their money trying to go to space and we get all angry about it. It's like, maybe if we spend a little less time being angry with them over what they're doing with their money and a little more time studying them, trying to figure out how we can make that kind of money, I think everybody would be a lot better off.
Terry, come on. No.
I'm saying. Hey,
Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk exploit people's labor?
No, I would have quit. I would have quit by the time I made the first 50 million. I'd have just been like, all right, I'm out later.
Well, that's not enough. Like this. That's not being
that's
like
enough
that.
For me. I don't have to be like that.
I get what you're saying in the sense that I remember in my 20s, and it was hard, early 30s, you would sit and you would just look and be like, oh, I wish this, that, or the other. I wish I had my own business. I used to wish that a lot. And you know what? Now I do. And now I'm wishing for more because it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? So I think maybe not only do we maybe look back to see like, hey, where was that guy at before? But what struggles is that guy going through now? Because I'm sure you struggle too, even though you get to work in the shade on your laptop and this and that. You know what I'm saying? So
everybody struggles.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Well, I'll wrap that up. I'll wrap it up one more time because I normally like to wrap them up in a nice little saying here, but no. Damn it. Never mind, I forgot.
Okay. All right. Do you have any?
Well, I try to end it really nice, usually every week, but you kind of cut me off there.
You did end it nice, and I rebutted.
All right.
All right. I'm sorry if you weren't happy with my rebuttal. I thought I could do that after. So
yeah, I wasn't done, but okay. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Just remember when you get upset, when you get Are you trying to solve your problem, or do you just want to be mad that somebody else doesn't have your problem? That's what it is.
All
Okay.
right. Those are good words for white people. Right,
Mm.
Chris?
Yeah, I concur.
You're white people. Okay.
That's words
Terry,
for all people. It's words for Mexican people mostly, but
do you have anything coming up?
me?
Yeah.
No, just buy my book. It's on Amazon right now. Unclaimed Ashes.
Okay. Are we gonna get anything from you out in Tennessee, or you just? I mean, you just did New
Yeah.
York. So, okay.
Yeah, give me a second, man. I gotta get in the
Don't act
scene. I
like,
gotta
why is
find.
she asking if I'm doing comedy? Are you still comic?
Oh yeah. No, I'm still doing it up here. I
I
gotta
mean, I need
get
a
some
comic on the
connections.
BlameGirl podcast, Terry. So if you're
I
not
gotta
doing
get
comedy,
some. I gotta get some connections at Zanies and some of these other smaller shows. Takes time. My house is still, my
I'm
house is
just
still a wreck.
let
I
us
gotta
see
get,
it. I'm just kidding.
huh?
I
Yeah.
said, let us see it.
No, we gotta get a life together. I still need to buy a couch. So.
All right. Well, I've got Boca Black Box guys this week, and Boca Jason Pellish, if you listening. Boca fucking Black Box. Other than that, I guess I will see you guys next week. All right. Thank you, Chris, for being on. Follow
Thank
him
you
at
so
Party
much, guys.
Stranger. And buy Terry's Unclaimed Ashes book and come see me in Boca. All right, guys.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.